If you watched the last video, you watched me carve this piece of pine into a stick for the habitat base. There was a limb. This one came up to about right here. This one came out to about right here, and this one was about right here. And the base was nice and smooth and transitioned into the bottom. Came home yesterday and my dog decided to take it off the table and use it as a chew toy. So a day and a half down the drain. I'll have to do another one. So I'm not going to do that right now though. I've got the eyes in for the crappie, and I'm going to start mounting them. So here's and I've got two of them, but here's the crappie eye. And I'm going to draw on where it goes on here. Actually, I've already got it, but I'm gonna darken it up, and then I'm gonna drill out the socket for the eye holes. So I will do that now. And so let me get the camera situated here, and I'll be right back with you. All right. Off camera, I put the eye on here and drew the circle around it, and I'll use this little cylinder shape bit to carve it out, but I'm just going to kind of darken it up here. And I'll go right to the line, maybe just a little bit over, and I'll use Apoxie Sculpt to mount the eyes with, and I'll do that inside. But you see I've got it on both sides. I drew the pupil on, and then I made sure that they were centered and evenly spaced where they're supposed to be. So let me get started on drilling this eye out here. And I just take my time going, don't get in a hurry doing it. Alright, I'm going to turn this off and test fit this eye. I'm pretty sure it's not big enough yet, but I'm going to... Yeah, it needs to go a little bit more. Okay, so I got the eye socket finished on this side. A little out of breath. What you didn't see off camera was I dropped the eye and it rolled and went back right through a crack in the deck, and had to crawl under the deck to find the eye. So anyway, I got the socket done, and I'll do this other side here in just a second. See if I can keep from dropping the eye again. And I just do a dry fit here, and I want the socket just a little bit bigger than the eye, maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so. I want some space around it where I can move it, and then I will sculpt in the eye socket with the epoxy putty, and I need the room to make that socket, so I want it to be bigger than the eye. And right now the eye is a little bit further in, sunken into the head, than what it will be. It'll be out just a little bit more than that. And also If you look at the eye, you'll see the pupil is teardrop shaped on a fish. I think, and the thing is, on crappie around in my region here in Arkansas, or the ones I've caught, and even all the reference photos I've looked at, the crappie's eyes pupils aren't teardrop shaped like that. So I think Tohickon just makes a generic glass shape, and then they paint it to the species. So most fish do have that teardrop shape though, and I can call Tohickon and have them make one that's round, but I don't know what it would cost. I'm sure it costs quite a bit extra. I think these were oh Lord, I don't even remember what I paid for them now. I think they were $9 or $10 for a pair of eyes. But anyway, on this pupil, you want the front, the small end to be front facing forward, and then you want it to be horizontal with the body. So you want that pupil to be straight. You don't want it to be, if I can get it to turn here, you don't want it to be, let me get it in here, what you don't want. You don't want it pointing up like that. You want it to be level, horizontal with the body, like that. So I'm going to do the other one now, and like I say, I ordered these from a company called Tohickon, and this is their catalog, and I'll put a link to their site in the description below. But so I'm gonna get started on the other side here now. So if you can see, these eyes are hollow on the back, and I use a this is a 135 series spherical eye. So they're hollow on the back, slight concaved on the back, and they're, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch or so wide around the edge, and then they have the concave iris. So but they'll go in, and again, I'm going in here in just a second, set up inside at the table, and then I'll mount them with Apoxie Sculpt. I will also blend in the fins with the body with the Apoxie Sculpt. So I'm gonna get set up to do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm set up in the house now, and I've got the eyes here. Here's some bass eyes that I've got ordered for the bass I'm going to do next. And when you order these, you need to measure on your pattern, make sure your eye is drawn out to scale on the pattern, and then you measure the eye on the pattern. And in this case, they were 14 millimeters. So I ordered 14 millimeter eyes. And on the bass pattern I got that I've drawn out that I'm going to use, they were 18 millimeter. And I also ordered some clear. You can order these clear, not painted, and you can paint them yourself. So I'm going to attempt that. I don't know how easy it is, but I'm going to attempt it. But not today. So, and then I'm going to use this Apoxie Sculpt. It's a 2-part putty, resin putty, and you just mix equal amounts of it. And then I've got various little tools here that I'm going to use to help sculpt it in the eye. I bought these. I bought this little set, this whole set here, from Harbor Freight. Like $5, and they're good quality. Usually Harbor Freight's got some cheap stuff, but these are actually pretty decent little tools, and they're good for doing fine detail. You can even use them to make impressions with in the wood to make little details, and I may do that, and I may use those on the Apoxie Sculpt when I get ready to mold the fins in and blend the fins into the body. I may use it to put the imprint of little scales on it. So, or I may get the scale tips out and just press them in. I don't know yet. I'll wait and see how it looks. So, and I've got some water here. You can smooth this stuff out with water. And then I've got a couple paint brushes. You can get the paintbrush wet and also smooth it out, blend it into the body. So I'm gonna get started here with rolling out some of this Apoxie Sculpt. And you just take 2 equal parts. And I'm gonna do just enough to do one eye at a time. So, and I'll probably fast forward this so you can kind of see. That's way too much. But you just get 2 equal parts. And roll them out. That's probably going to be way too much. Alright, so and I'll put a link to this Apoxie Sculpt in the comments, in the description down below too. So I think that's probably good. Alright. So what I do is I take a little pea-sized ball. It might be too much. That's still too much. My dog drinking water in the background there. You know, actually, go ahead and roll out a piece here, then I'm going to put it around the edge. Again, you want that pupil to be horizontal with the body. And just kind of mash it in. And like I say on this one, I want him to be looking slightly forward. Let's see if that shows here. He's going to be looking slightly forward because he's going to be looking up a little bit, because there'll be a minnow hanging just above him that he's about to hit. I also bought these little stiffer brushes. Oh yeah, I like that. These are real stiff bristled brushes. And that's gonna work fine there. It's gonna let it blend real good. Alright. So you can kind of see, I'm gonna use this softer brush here. Smooth it out good. And there you got it. Actually, I need to build up the skull head just a little bit there. Just to give it just a little bit of a ridge, eye socket ridge. Blending that in as much as I can with the body up here. You see that? Turn it sideways where you can see the. All right, I'll do the other side off camera because that's what's going to take the longest. But I'm going to blend in the dorsal fin now. Plus, getting you wet, I should have got my fingers wet to put that on because it'll kind of stick to your fingers if you don't. Okay, everything's done, so I'm going to stop there. And the eyes are mounted. You can see that. And the fins are all blended in. I went ahead and used one of the scale tips to press it in. And then I'll seal it up here in the next day or two. And then start with the painting process. I did mess up. I should have sealed it before I mounted the eyes, but I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. But it'll be fine. So anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Suggestions be great if you have any. And I'll see you on part 10 on gessoing and starting the painting process.